hear the goddamn music, but that doesn't matter. All right. So welcome everybody. This is Internet Uncapped. I am your host, Evan. Joining me once again, as always, is Mitchell. We
Episode number 4.
have we have a show. We got to get through the show. We have a
Mhm.
lot to discuss today. But first, I want to bring up something that we had talked about last time, a few weeks ago. As of this recording, it will
Mhm.
have been, 2 weeks ago. But anyway, we discussed watching a movie that is available on the streaming service called Mubi, Mubi, called Grand Theft Hamlet. This is a documentary about these people, husband and wife team, and their friend who put on a stage production of Hamlet in Grand Theft Auto Online. We're
Mhm.
going to talk about that at the start of the show. But before we do, I would like to go over a review that is available on my account on the app Letterboxd. So this is a movie review, and then we're going to go in and deep dive into our discussion of Grand Theft Hamlet that we both saw for the very first time.
Yes.
So I'm going to read the review right now. So, well, looks like we got Grand Theft Hamlet before we got Grand Theft Auto 6. In this documentary chronicling the wild and very experimental adventure of trying to make a production of Hamlet in Grand Theft Auto Online, the two directors try and coordinate random users to act in the many parts from the play Hamlet, along with scouting locations in the game for each scene, and along the way try to avoid any missteps in the game or get killed by other users who just want to fuck shit up as the game advertises. At times, the film dragged a bit, especially as things were being set up in the beginning. The
Mhm.
further along I went in my viewing, the deeper and richer this unlikely journey became, especially during this period in the UK during the third COVID lockdown in 2020, leading to the eventual launch on a YouTube live stream over a year after they began. The film raises a lot of questions that the users are exploring through the text of Hamlet. Is life worth living? Can you trust anyone? Is there a way to achieve your life goals with a sense of purpose? Along the way, the film doesn't take itself too seriously, but the focus of trying to find meaning and purpose in this virtual one while figuring out their lives in the real world is quite powerful. Grand Theft Hamlet was an immersive, strange, hilarious, and at times thought provoking film, and quite an achievement both as a documentary showcasing the virtual world of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Hamlet, with the unlikely people willing to help out on something that seemed almost impossible to pull off. So, with that being said, Mitchell, give us your reactions and thoughts on the movie.
Yeah. So, when you first sent it to me, I'm gonna start from when I first heard of it. And you sent me the trailer. I thought it was just like a YouTube thing. So when we were in middle school, that is when YouTube first started.
Yes.
It,
Was it?
yeah.
I thought we were in. I was like 10 when it started, like 2005. So, but anyway, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. We were like I think it was around, but it wasn't like popularized.
True.
Like
True. True.
so, like I would say like it was still something that was like it was around, but um it really hit its stride, I would say, when we were in middle school. So
Yes.
that's a more
Okay. That.
clear definition.
Yep.
Um,
That's right. Yep. Absolutely.
so
Hmm.
like you had like Ryan Higa, you had him, you had everyone's favorite DSP, huh? And and you had these big partner channels. The biggest
Yep.
one being Machinima, or one of the biggest ones was Machinima, and they
Yes.
used to have all these people play games like Call of Duty, play games like Battlefield, and all these other um, games I can't think of right now. There was another one called Sanity Not Included, where it was Lyle and I think it was Lyle and Alex. I have to go back and watch it, but it
Hmm.
was this like animated show where these dudes would just go on these like crazy adventures, and it was very crude humor, and they were just doing a bunch of crazy stuff.
Hmm.
And they had Sonic for Hire, which was making fun of how Sonic couldn't do anything. Like there was no good Sonic game, so Sonic was now broke.
Oh yes.
Um, but again, Machinima had all these shows. So when I heard it, when you first told me about it, it made me think about that immediately. Like I remember someone did in a private lobby of Call of Duty, COD 4, Modern Warfare. They did like a thing with the different character skins, because if you used a shotgun, you had one character skin. If you did the sniper, you had a character skin. LMG, you had a character skin. Submachine gun, assault rifle, you would wear a certain character skin. So someone actually did like a show, was 3 episodes, and they were the Marines, um, from Call of Duty, and they were like getting into these firefights and everything, and they you would see them shoot at the walls and stuff, and they would just go over the headset being like, "I'm shot, man down," and they would make it so when they went down, they had the last stand, so they'd be down with the pistol, pop, 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 and obviously they did it on PC, and they used like different angles and different cameras and stuff to get those shots, but it still was really well done for the time frame, or the
Mm-hmm.
time period that it was in, and that's what it made me think of, is all those people that did those like movies. Red versus Blue, which is
Yeah. Red versus blue. That's Rooster
Rooster
Teeth.
Teeth.
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep, and that's immediately what I thought of. It was a very unique idea, and I said to you when we were watching it, I said, "There's no way they can do this in a public lobby. Like they should go to a private lobby." But I understand the recruitment process. You have to go into public lobbies, and you have to find people that way. That made sense.
Right.
But they were like when they were trying to do like certain things in the public lobby, I was like, yeah, it's not going to work. You cannot do that in a public lobby.
Yeah.
They won't let you. Like it's insane. Like the way that again, a lot of these people on GTA is one of the most toxic communities. I don't care what anyone says. GTA community, Call of Duty community, NBA 2K community, some of the most toxic, from my experience.
Mm.
So like when they were trying to do it in the public session, I was like, it's not going to work. You can find the people and go private. And I think that's what they did. I think they went into a private session when
Oh,
they did the
sure.
final.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they
Yeah.
did the final thing.
Once
So,
they actually
but
did it,
yeah,
yeah, that
overall,
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, overall, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends because, documentaries are not the way you think about them. They actually do create a narrative that they want to show you. So even if you're watching something that is based on true events and that may be very factual or that may, whatever they want to show you, they still
Mm-hmm.
have to create a narrative based on a story structure within the film because it's still a film at the end of the day. It's
Aw.
not like a news reel, or it's not like you know. So I thought that was very interesting insight that you gave because for me, as someone who, watches documentaries, watches film all the time, it didn't occur to me that they may have fudged the process a little bit, and then it wasn't just a public server or a public, whatever the whole time, and that all the, because what the movie made it seem like was that they were facing a lot of these problems for the whole entirety of the time, and so it seemed like they may have. Maybe there were some problems, but it seemed like maybe some things may have been a little exaggerated, and they trying to want to, drive the narrative of what they were trying to achieve. But
Mhm.
I thought what was really interesting, and I think this was the sort of emotional truth behind what was the core mission of the movie, was that you're gonna meet very unlikely people, and you don't quite know who you're gonna meet until you actually talk to them, and you don't know who's actually gonna help you out in the end, even if you've never met them like in your entire life. And I think
Mhm.
that is kind of the magic of a video game community, especially when it's not as toxic, because then you find people with common causes. You find people who they really want to play the game because they want to have fun. And they were doing this kind of like outlandish experiment of wanting to do a Grand Theft Hamlet production within the video game. And they're like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's try to figure it out. Let's see if we can, move our characters in a certain way and see if there are ways, there's a little emote where you can actually like kill yourself, and like because it's Hamlet, that's what they do, they kill themselves all the time. So that was like a really
Mhm.
inventive way to actually like portray that in the game, when they were ready, and they were doing it for the YouTube live stream. So, you know um like I said, the pacing issues weren't bad. they dragged it a little bit, but not to the extent that I was bored. It was just that we needed to get from point A to point B to the next thing and the next thing. Even if it was a little slow, it was a tight 90-minute movie. It wasn't like super long or whatever.
Yeah.
But it
I
but
didn't, I
but
didn't even think
but
it
by
was
the end,
90.
it
It's more like
really drove
80.
everything together. You know.
Yeah, I would push back on it. Didn't even. I don't even think it was 90. I think if you look at the runtime, it's got to be. It's got to be like I would say the overall runtime is probably an hour 22 minutes to hour 25 in that range.
Yeah,
But I would say it was
and
like 80 minutes, like or not 80 minutes. Sorry, like 110 minutes. Like there's
I would
no way.
imagine it's probably shorter. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, or sorry, 90 minutes would be an hour and a half. So yeah, I was right. 80 minutes. It'd probably be like 80 minutes.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that makes
what I
sense.
felt like. So, um, yeah, I mean, again, it was really well done. I like how they had like you see them doing the you had one guy doing this in the background, doing the freaking flailing of the arms. I thought that was hilarious, and then
That
you
was
had one
so
guy
funny.
going two thumbs up. Um, and
Yeah.
like, and then there was one part where he was like, "Oh, this is gonna be tough to do this," and he has his character go. So,
Yeah.
again, it was a very unique experience. I enjoyed it. Um, it was different, and sometimes I think like a lot of people put a lot of faith into media in the sense that they think like, oh, I can't believe people just sit around and play video games all day. I can't believe people just do this. People just consume media. Sometimes it's nice to just sit there and watch something that's dumb or just crazy, like ridiculous. Like you don't have to watch everything. Not everything has to be Bill, 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 Bill Nye, the science
It's
guy.
true.
Not everything has to be that. Sometimes you can watch your DSP gaming. You can watch your goofy stuff. You can watch it. Huh? Uh, huh? I did nothing wrong. I did everything right.
Right.
Snore. Sometimes you can watch your bad stuff, and that's
Yeah.
that's just fine. That's just fine. You get my stamp of approval. Watch it. It's garbage. You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, you need to have just as much
Balance.
high art as there is low art, and
Balance.
people poo-poo it all the time and whatever. And there's stuff that I think can rightly be like, "Oh yeah, that's garbage. You shouldn't even waste your time with it." But if people are having a good time with it, like you said, there shouldn't be any reason that it doesn't exist. It's
Evan,
just that that's a different audience.
exactly. And I own artwork, Evan. I got the Minecraft French fry helmet.
Oh God.
So you're welcome. Look at that. I
Yeah,
own
well,
artwork, folks. Look at that.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I'll have to show it at some point. Mitchell came to
Artwork,
my
baby.
house. Huh?
It's an artwork, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, artwork. Yeah, Mitchell came to my house when we were watching the movie, and he gave me the Big Mac crystal. I don't have it on me, but yeah, it's just this little block, and it's basically like a Big Mac. So there you go. They're
There you
selling
go.
they're selling those things out like hotcakes. Yep, exactly. And I have my card. I don't have the card on me, like I said, but it comes with the card. Also, the runtime. I am looking at the runtime right now. It was a 91-minute movie.
But that includes credits.
Probably. Oh no, no, no question, no question. It
Yeah.
includes the beginning and the end, and then probably the actual movie was like 80 something
Yeah.
minutes, E-
Yeah.
85, whatever.
Called it.
No,
Yeah.
no, but I just wanted to be clear, like that is the actual runtime. But totally, no, for sure.
Evan,
Um,
don't do it for you. Don't do it for me. Do it for the plug.
do it for the plug. Always do it for the plug.
Do it for the
Um,
plug, baby. Yeah.
yeah. So, in the words of Siskel and Ebert, I would give this movie a thumbs up. I thought it was great, very entertaining, very effective, and definitely took a lot away. I really didn't expect it. First of all, I didn't expect it to be nearly as funny as it was, but I
Hmm.
also didn't expect it to be nearly as deep. And it was deep, and it really highlighted the text of Hamlet in a way that I didn't really appreciate when I first heard about it. And then watching the movie, it's like, oh, they really are getting some stuff down. And they
Yep.
won an award. They actually won a performance award
Hmm.
for the live
Grand
stream,
Theft
which
Hamlet.
is
Yeah.
like crazy. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like, wow.
I thought that was like the craziest thing that they won an award. Like to me, that was fantastic. And a couple of things. I want to ask you some questions here, Evan, because this is your episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
I got three questions.
Okay.
First, who was your favorite character?
Ooh. Yeah, there were some really wild characters in there. I liked the alien guy.
Yes,
He wasn't an official character in the play, but they
yes, he
tried to
wasn't.
audition him, and he was so weird. But he was from
Indonesia.
Tunisia, and
Was it?
he
Wait,
was just like,
wait, was it Indonesia or?
no, Tunisia,
Oh, okay, okay.
the
I
African country. Yeah.
I just remember Nisha.
Tunisia, yeah, but no, it was Tunisia, yeah. And he at one point he was reciting the Quran as a way to audition for the play, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you did a great job. That's awesome." And they were very encouraging of him, and he
Yeah, and
kind of like was like, I don't really want to be involved anymore, but I can help with like security." And they're like, "Okay, sure, like no problem." Like, yeah.
yeah.
So that's
And
number one. I like the alien guy who was the from Tunisia.
yeah, and I also like the fact that like they were very like you noted supportive. Like they're like, oh, he's like my English isn't that good. They're like, no, like you're, and I agree. His English was really good. Like he
It
was,
was. He actually
yeah, like
was. Yeah,
he could
no, he was fine.
he could
He
have a
had an accent, but that's fine. You know,
yeah.
whatever.
He was having full conversations. Like
Totally.
yeah, like I think there was a couple of parts where he kind of like stuttered a little bit, but like English isn't his first language, and you can tell. I think also he was a little rattled because they had like all the whole crew was there, and he's probably like, even though it's in a game, probably had stage fright.
Yeah, just like anybody.
Hmm.
You know, you're in a video game, but like, those things come out.
Yeah. So second question, do you think that with the success of Grand Theft Hamlet, with GTA 6 on the cusp of coming out, do they do another movie? Maybe GTA Romeo and Juliet, GTA, I don't know, something else. Do they try to do another play? I
This is
haven't
a
looked
really
into
good
it
question.
and I haven't seen them say anything about it, but
Hmm.
again, balls in your court. Do you think that they try something else similar?
Yeah, so, they haven't both the directors really haven't made other movies besides this one.
Hmm.
So it's hard to say. It's very hard to say because I don't know like what they do as filmmakers. I think they only do a lot of subject stuff.
Yeah.
However, I think it would be a really great idea if they were to do that in Grand Theft Auto 6. If they did, yeah, Romeo and Juliet or King Lear or any of those other ones. They could even do like Cyrano de Bergerac, which is not, obviously not Shakespeare, but it's still like a very classic play. Um, it would be cool. It would be really cool. But we'll see. I don't know. I would say my answer is I don't know, but it would be really cool if they did that. If they did like a sequel or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree. I thought about this a few days after. I thought, okay, GTA 6 is set to go ahead and release this fall. That's the rumors. Nothing has been confirmed by Rockstar Games, so it might in fact be postponed. We don't know yet. They haven't. They're insisting it's going to be fall, but no second trailer, no release date has been announced yet.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. So that's first thing. And secondly, I haven't looked into if Rockstar is like happy about something like this. Take Two
Yeah.
Interactive tends to be very protective um, of their properties. So I don't know if there's something that they were said, hey, listen, we know you made this film, great, cut it out, don't do it again. You didn't run this by us. So again, Take Two Interactive extremely protective of their property. So I don't know if that might be the case. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
about that as well. So I mean, we will see. We will see. Only time will tell. Um, Last question. Have you? I know you played GTA 5 on the PS3,
Mm-hmm.
but they added something onto. I don't know if they added on PS3 necessarily. I know it was on the 4 for sure,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't
Yep.
know if they added on the PS3 rendition, the 360 rendition. But they did have a director mode. And the
Mm,
director mode allowed for you to go ahead and when you played the game, you can set up cameras. You can and like in the director mode, you can like record stuff. So there were some people that I have seen some people make like short films on GTA with the different
mm,
characters in the game. So
okay.
after watching that, have you decided? Have you thought about maybe like upgrading and getting yourself a console? Maybe trying that out yourself, like just trying to use the director mode in the game and create stuff.
Hmm.
Are
This
you
is a
inspired,
it's a
Evan?
good yeah, it's but inspiration. No, it's a good question. Well, I definitely had been meaning to upgrade. Yeah, because I am so behind on my consoles and whatever. PS3, enough said. But uh, yeah, I think once things start to change in terms of my living situation, I may consider upgrading for sure. A PS5, I guess, at this point, or I don't know, something like that. But yeah, I'll have to think about it. I'll have to think about it. It's an interesting idea, but I like the sound of it for sure. A lot more content, that's for sure. We could always put it out there for the
Yeah.
audience, see what I come up with. But that
Okay.
is cool. That's a really cool idea.
Okay. I just thought of another question and another comment. Okay.
Okay, all right, yes.
So speaking of Grand Theft Auto, what was your first car in GTA Online?
Okay, so I will admit to the audience, I did not know what the answer was, but Mitchell remembered. And I actually do
Yes.
vaguely remember, but based on his memory of it. Apparently, I had like a red Prius or something,
Blue.
right? It was a blue Prius. It was a blue
Blue.
Prius. It was a blue. Okay, it was a blue Prius. And Mitchell wanted
Yes.
me to get like a monster truck or what was it again?
No. 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 I wanted you to get the Obey Tailgater, which is an Audi. It
Okay,
is
all
an
right.
Audi sedan.
An Audi sedan. I don't know.
And I told you, Evan, if you bring that fucking Prius to the garage, you're gonna go ahead and it's gonna be your first main car. Don't do it. You
That's
drove up
right.
the hill and you went, Mitchell, I'm flying.
Yes, that's right.
Evan,
Whee!
what the
Okay,
what the
so
fuck?
so so here's
And
so
then I
here's the story behind the story
well, no
though.
wait, I'm not done.
Okay, okay.
I'm
Yep.
not done. I
All right,
you
all right,
had
all
to
right, all right. Go
get the
ahead. Go ahead.
Obey tailgater to get the Obey tailgater, you had to go to a specific spot at a specific time. Evan, the fucking stars aligned for that to spawn at the golf course parking lot. So I drove over there. I got the fucking car. Cops chased me. I lose the wanted level. Try to meet you at the garage to see you come out of the garage with the fucking Prius. Evan, the stars aligned and God wanted you to have that fucking Audi and you spat. You spat on God that day because you said, "No thanks. I'll take the Prius." What the fuck?
Okay, okay. Now I'll explain the
You're
story
welcome.
behind the story. Fine, you're welcome. I'll explain the story behind the story around it. All right. So the story behind the story is this: we're in the game, and I'm not taking it that seriously. It's a video game. It was going to
Fuck
be
you.
really funny and hilarious what I was going to end up doing. Now Mitchell says pick the whatever, right?
The
And
Obey
I'm like,
tailgater.
I'm gonna
Show
do the
some
exact
respect.
opposite just to troll the shit out of him. So I
Fuck
get the
you.
Prius and he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "No, don't you take it out of the garage. Don't you do it. Don't you dare take it out of the garage." And I take it out of the garage. And so because I literally this was maybe well, besides in game, this was my first time doing it in the online. And so I start revving up the engine and I start driving and I go over a hill and I start flying because I go so quickly. And so I just said, Mitchell, I'm flying. And he's just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the whole point. So that's the story behind the story. I just did it as a troll. And yes,
So,
I did spit on it, but it was a very funny moment. And you gotta admit, it was
so
pretty good that I did
have you?
that,
So Evan,
whatever.
Evan, Evan, you watch Breaking Bad, right? Evan, you watch Breaking Bad.
Yes.
So you know what happens when Walter quits his job at the car wash.
Uh Well, people get really mad and they try to kill him, but
No, 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 no. When he quits his job at the car wash, he says to the owner, he says, "Fuck you and your
oh right.
eyebrows."
And your
Well,
rocks.
that and your eyebrows. That's what I feel about
And
your
your
fucking.
eyebrows.
That's what I feel about your Prius. Fuck you and your Prius.
Again, it wasn't my first choice. I wouldn't have chosen the Prius,
Fuck you.
but because the
It
Prius
was
was
your first
there.
choice. You brought it to the garage. Therefore, it's your first choice.
Well, no, but I could
Look,
have picked any car, and it was because of the fact that you said don't pick the Prius, so I had to pick
Evan,
the
Evan,
Prius.
Evan. Respectfully, I own two cats. Okay. Therefore, I am a parent, so I can say this. Okay. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. There you go. Boom.
Disappointed, sure,
Can't
of
come
course.
back. Game over, son. You cooked. Cooked. Get
Well,
fucked.
history. Oh,
To
thanks,
quote,
Mitchell.
wait, to
History
quote
is
one.
well, history was made that day, and
Yeah.
you're welcome for Mitchell. I'm flying.
Well, you know what? You know what, Evan? If I was DSP, I'd tell you to get a spoon. You know what DSP said to do with that spoon?
Oh God, I can only imagine.
How'd you get a fucking spoon so you can eat shit out of my fucking ass?
Oh, ew. Oh,
Fucking
yuck,
idiot.
Mitchell.
Huh?
This is what happens, folks. He gets very unhinged, and we're at that portion of the show now where he's going to be able to
Oh,
do that. So you're
oh
welcome.
no,
You're going to see more of that
it's
coming up.
just DSP does that to me. That's the best.
Oh
D-
yeah, I saw a
no,
video of him saying that recently. So I was like, yeah, well,
he cried recently on the stream.
he did, and we do have to cover. We will cover that. There's a lot to cover. There's
It's
every day
so
is a school
so
day with DSP. Every day
Dude,
is a
it
school
is
day.
the oh my god, there's so much gold there. I fucking love it. He was like, now guys.
There's just it was his birthday stream. He's crying, and he tells the audience the cat made him a hamburger, and then he's gonna eat it on stream because we
it,
met the
it's
goals.
but it's she didn't make the burger.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
was a frozen burger.
Frozen burger. Oh, lovely.
That
Anyways,
it was like Genio or something like that. They found it. Like the detractors found the brand. It was Genio's. It's a
Jenny
cost. It was like you find it at Costco, and someone found the fucking pasta salad he got also at Costco. I think his wife left, but that's for another time. We're gonna dive deep into that. That shit's gonna be
We're gonna dive
awesome.
into it more. Absolutely, we always will. We gotta try to complete our DSP series. But for now, let's move on
Okay.
to our next topic. Um, and Mitchell, I think you have more insight on this. I am a Nintendo fan. I
Mhm.
do pay attention to this stuff. I am subscribed to their YouTube channel. I get all the Nintendo Direct videos in my in my subscription box. However, I did not pay attention too closely to this recent one. So, but we do have a lot to discuss about this recent development. So, Mitchell, if you may, please, the floor is yours. What in the world is going on with Nintendo and their prices?
They're fucking us, Evan.
I know.
That's putting it lightly. It is. I honestly, it is absolutely insane. I couldn't. I can't fathom it. I legit cannot fathom it. Nintendo. It has always been the console that it's how can I put it? It's always been the console where when you look at it, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna share my add
Yeah,
to the
share your
stage.
screen.
Boom.
Absolutely.
There we go. So
Yeah.
I have my screen here, and you can see. You look at some of these games. This is for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong Country Returns, $59.99. Xenoblade Chronicles, $59.99. Mario Luigi, $59.99. All these games are $59.99. Well, see if I can find it. I think it was
Not
on
cheap.
here.
Not cheap.
Trying to see if I can find it. Oh, damn it! I guess they're not trying to show it on. They're not trying to show it on their
Yeah,
site
I don't
anymore.
know.
But
Oh
here,
well.
I'll find it in 1 second. But essentially, what ended up happening is um, they upped the price. They upped the price so much, and it's absolutely insane. And the price of games as well. Everything is going up in price. It is it's crazy. I just I don't know how I feel about it, and it's just yeah. I mean it's I can't. I'm at loss for words. Honestly, I'm
Yeah,
legitimately at a loss for words, just because I feel really hurt by this news because of
I think
everything.
a
And
lot of people do, but yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
so right here, Nintendo Switch 2, $449.99, $450. Which it's whatever. That's going to be the price. It is what it is. You can't
Right.
complain. But where the big issue is the games, which I just clicked on them now. Um, and when you look at the prices of the games, they're $80 to $90,
Yeah.
or at least the new Mario Kart Worlds. Which why the hell does Mario Kart need an open world? I'm sorry, I don't care about what the open world of Mario Kart. Like
Yeah.
it's
The
just
open world. Exactly.
yeah, and it's insane. It's
It and
um
I think it's no secret that, the video game industry and Nintendo, but more broadly, their prices have gone up, and especially where, there are physical copies of these games and they are still being sold,
mhm,
but there is more of a focus of downloading online, and that's been going on for a decade, so that's not new. But I'm saying, like, you know they're trying to justify these prices because of the amount of CPU that it may take up in your library, or the amount of energy that it may. And I just think it's a bunch of shit. It's really a bunch of bullshit. I don't believe the excuses. It's really just a rake in the coals and get more money out of the consumer. But the fact that Nintendo, like, is raising it to such a outrageously high amount per game, and then they're expecting you to, like, pay more for, like, a bundle or whatever, for it's like 6 what is it? 600, I think, for the
mhm.
Mario Kart bundle or something?
No, it is 500.
Oh, it's 500. But still, like, that's a lot. Like, that's a pretty high investment. I mean, I had, the Wii and the Wii U, or maybe around the 300s, maybe the 400s at tops. And maybe the Switch was around that too. And now it's like, what? Like, but $80 for a video game, one of the most absurd things that I think most people have ever seen in their life. I mean, that really is the kicker here. But yeah, yeah. So no, it says the real stock Mario Kart goes for 79.99, $10 higher. And then Tears of the Kingdom. It's like, what?
Mhm,
I I just find it so absurd, and I haven't played video games in a while, but, when you're like me and you haven't played video games in a while and you might wanna get back into it, and you see that and you're like, "Okay, but why would I bother with a new system if it's gonna be that high?" Doesn't make sense, right? You would rather go for, like, I don't have a Switch. I stopped at the Wii U, right? But, first of all, there's not much of a difference between the 2 and the regular one, really. It's just like a design thing. So unless they're, like,
mhm,
deliberately changing the actual, like, interface, or even, like, the little cartridge, or how you play the game or put the game in, you might as well just get a Switch. You might as well just keep buying a Switch for another 3 years or 2 years, and it'll be
mhm.
like a decade or so. It's insane that it'll be a decade since the Switch launched. But, yeah, you might as well just not buy it, and you might as well just not
Yeah,
even bother. And, like, that's on
yeah,
them. That's on Nintendo. They did this to themselves, you know? They shot
yeah,
themselves in the foot.
yeah. And looking at everything here, they tried justifying it. Like they tried saying like, oh well, we don't do like expansions, we don't do stuff like that. Um,
Right.
and they try going ahead and it's disingenuous, is what it is. And this is a part I found the IGN article. I remember reading this. I read it on my lunch break. But we also asked Trinidad about the $80 cost of some of the Nintendo Switch 2 edition games. Well, while there is a $10 upgrade path for existing owners of these games on the Switch, and both the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition, $69.99, and the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom the Nintendo Switch 2 edition, $79.99, are also as part of the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack membership. Nintendo is not offering any sort of discount to newcomers on Switch 2. That is wow.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo
it,
has
it,
historically not offered any discounts. That's just not how they roll.
yeah, they
But
you
the
buy
fact that
it.
you're not adding discounts and you're making it more expensive, that's a kick in the dick. That's a total
Yeah.
kick in the dick.
I the problem is, and I actually saw a comment on here too, um, and it made me chuckle. But this is on the 7th again. I saw this on my lunch break. Hate to break it to them, but the consumer decides whether or not a price tag is justified. Someone replied, "True, but
It's
then there's
true.
always dumb motherfuckers willing to pay."
It's true.
Which,
It's
yeah,
true.
and
Yeah.
that's the part. Like I'm a, as they say, a Sony pony. I prefer my PlayStation. I have an Xbox. It's actually behind my monitor right here, but I prefer my PlayStation when it comes to playing. I'm gonna go ahead and move that video off the screen. We're gonna go back to me and you. But I prefer my PlayStation over everything else. So that's how I prefer. I prefer my PlayStation. I don't like playing on the Xbox as much. And when the Xbox One was announced, the guy whose name eludes me right now, um, it'll come to me. But he went ahead and he came on stage when he was presenting the Xbox One saying, "Oh, well, if you don't want to be connected to the internet, we have an offline console. It's called the Xbox 360." And it's like, you are trying to push your next generation console, your next generation game, and your message to the audience is, "Fuck you, just buy it." Like what was
Yeah,
the
I
thought
remember that. That
process?
was pretty absurd.
Yeah, and I remember Sony clapped back with one of the greatest videos of all time, and I got to get it up on. I got to get it up here because now that we're talking about it, it was chef's kiss. It was fantastic. I could not like. It was one of the greatest things ever. And Evan, this is an instructional video on how to share games on PS4. Okay,
All right.
here you go, Evan. Now, Evan, it's 20 seconds long, so please don't get distracted. I need you to watch how they do. You don't need to hear it. You just need to watch it.
All right. Okay. Sharing the game. Yes, step one, sharing the game. Just for the audio listeners, and that's it.
Yeah,
And that's it.
and
No, it's true.
they totally appreciate the background. And they totally destroyed, and I do mean destroyed, Nintendo when they did that. Like it was,
Totally, and of
not
course,
Nintendo. Sorry, not Nintendo. Xbox.
Xbox. Yeah, yeah. Of
Yeah,
Microsoft, of course. I mean,
yeah,
you would be too stupid not to clap back at them for for something like that. It is well, it was easily. I mean, it's a defining thing, not just for Xbox, but I argue the entire video game industry. What
yes,
happened with the Xbox One launch? I mean,
yeah,
they lost a lot of money at first and they
yeah.
gained it back eventually, but they lost a lot of money for a good reason. It is because they did not listen really to their fan base.
Yeah, and I think some of those issues from then still stem today with Xbox.
Yeah.
Um, like so, I look at the different generations. So you look at PS2 and the Xbox. I think PS2 is the greatest console of all time, hands down. Nothing will ever top that era of games. I
Mhm.
genuinely believe that. PlayStation 1, it's not close. Don't Xbox fans don't even try. It wasn't close. PlayStation 2, GOAT. Everyone had
Mhm.
a PS2. If you had an Xbox, it was your secondary console. No one
Right.
ever at that time was like, "Oh, I play my Xbox." They were like, "Yeah, I was playing my Xbox last night. I think I'm going to go home and play on my PS2." That's how it was. And that's not me trying to be disrespectful. To quote one LA Knight, that's just a fact of life. Yeah. And then you go ahead and you look at the 360 PS3 era. This is where Xbox was firing on all cylinders. And I'll say this, Xbox One They won, but it wasn't like some people over exaggerate. I don't think they won by much. I think they won, but I don't think it was a decisive win. Like I don't think they blew PlayStation out of the water, but I think they did win the 360 versus the PS3 generation.
Hmm.
Halo 3, the Gears franchise, Fable franchise, all these great franchises. They had the exclusivity for Call of Duty where they were getting map packs extremely early. They had everything was firing on all cylinders. They were doing the great stuff. Then you look at PlayStation. Yeah, they had Killzone. Yeah, they had Uncharted. But compared to the stuff that I mentioned on Xbox, PlayStation by far they won. Sorry, Xbox by far won. They won that generation. Then you look at Xbox One, PS4, PS4 all day. They won. That one. They got blown out of the water. And people are going to mention, oh, well, what about these Xbox franchises? Yeah, I get that, but still, PlayStation won that. I'm sorry, they won, and it was because of just how piss poor of a start you had in those 2 years. And then you had the
Yeah.
Xbox Series X versus the PS5, which honestly both sides sucked. PlayStation has had some good situations with the Spider-Man games, with the God of War
Yes.
franchise. They've done some great stuff with that, but Xbox, on the other hand, they've had some great games come out. Forza, that's one of the few games I play on Xbox
Mm.
consistently, legitimately, and I have a lot
Hmm.
of fun playing it. I'll be honest with you. I play more of the Horizon. It's more arcade. I don't like to do the simulation as much. If I do that, I play Gran Turismo. That's just my personal preference. But when I would just drive around and do bullshit and just like crash cars in the boulders and do crazy stuff, I go to Forza Horizon and just drive around. It's a good game.
Hmm.
And the Game Pass. Game Pass is great. I'm not going to take anything away from Xbox and their Game Pass. It's fantastic. But
Mm.
Xbox, instead of putting money back into their developers, putting money into their, their workers so they can make good stuff. No, we're just going to buy Activision. No, we're just going to buy fucking Bethesda. Stop being lazy and just you got to work harder at it. Like you were doing so great. They were doing great during the 360 era.
Right.
What the fuck happened? And that's the part that annoys me. Is again, you Gears, great stuff. Halo 3 ODST, Halo Reach. It was great stuff. You had everything there.
That's right. Yeah.
Gears 1, 2, and 3, even Gears Judgment Day, all great games. And then you flew too close to the goddamn sun. Fables 1 through 3. Fuck it, Evan. I'll throw it out there. Viva Pinata. That was a great game.
Beat that shit to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I played Viva Pinata a couple times. I thought it was fun. Um,
Yeah, Viva Pinata. I've never played it, but I've seen the gameplay. Looks fun. Absolutely.
Again, you can't. I don't know what Xbox did, and now there's rumors that they're gonna go ahead and just jug of water, and they're just gonna go ahead and focus now on just being more of a streaming service, and the console is gonna be secondary. That's
Oh
disappointing.
God. Now that I absolutely did not know. That what a tragedy. I mean, what I like it's
That's
bad enough that they had a console that they had a lot of flack for, and and that's been a part of a major part of their legacy for the last decade. And now they're just going to literally make the
well, that's
console the
that's that's
secondary feature.
speculation. That's nothing confirmed.
Speculation.
Let's
Okay, fair enough.
so
Fair enough.
let's say
Speculation.
that.
So we'll just hands off on that. But
But I'll say this: like since they bought Activision, since they
yep,
bought Bethesda,
yep,
it's been fucking dog shit.
not good. Not good.
They had this vampire game. I can't think of the name of it now. So it's a modern day shooter. It's a 4-player co-op game, and like you
Ooh,
fight vampires. Um, it's made by Bethesda. I played it. I
Redfall.
yes,
Okay, cool.
concept. Interesting.
Yeah.
I
um,
On a scale from 1 to 10, the concept, I was very much interested. I would give it an 8.5, 9. I thought it was a
mm,
cool idea. Um, Gameplay, 2.5, 3 out of 10.
mm-hmm.
Like it hurt. It hurt to play.
Yeah.
Um, Overall story, 3 to 4. It
Yeah.
just boring. It made no sense to me. I mean, I didn't beat it, so maybe there's stuff that I still had to keep playing to understand. I just couldn't bring it to finish the game. It just was so fucking bad. There was times where I would sprint for a little while, I wouldn't bump into any enemies, and I was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" Um, I felt like the map should have been bigger, and I think that they just rushed this project out. And again, this is when um, Xbox took over.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
and now they're working on the new. I think Bethesda is doing the new Blade game. So how is that going to turn out? Don't do this to me. Don't don't fuck me.
I'm watching you.
Watching,
We'll
watching you,
see.
fucker. I'm watching you.
Watching you. Watching.
That's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see.
But we just went
Yep.
on a tangent about Xbox and PlayStation during this whole Nintendo thing, but it all fits in. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
it all connects. But yeah. Well, what I was gonna say was going back to Nintendo.
Mhm.
Nintendo has a similar problem to what you actually were talking about, but it's different to the degree of how they do things. Their problem has a lot to do with the fact that they aren't customer first. They're more, how would I describe it? It's more like they put their stuff out and they expect people to buy the game. It's not so much that
Yes.
they're making stuff because they want people to buy their game and that they're going to please fans. It's either it's not a fan. It's Nintendo is a great company and I'm a fan of theirs, so don't get me wrong. However, they really aren't fan oriented. They're more consumer oriented, if that makes sense. There's a very distinct difference between the two terms. Uh,
Hmm.
but I think that they've had success, certainly with the Switch, and certainly with games like Super Mario Odyssey, with Breath of the Wild, Zelda, the new Tears of the Kingdom,
Hmm.
all sorts of other lesser games that aren't very widely known. Obviously, Super Smash Brothers, which is the biggest hit of them all. Um, but it's just perplexing that they expect their fans to go along with this change. And I think that we're kind of looping it around the two events around the Xbox One and this because they are in a way similar. It isn't quite the same in terms of how the reaction has been received, but it is similar in terms of they definitely messed up. There is, in a way, gonna be some repercussions, but it's not as intense or as visceral because that's not how Nintendo fans are. Like, Xbox and PlayStation 3, because those audiences are typically older and more male and less
Yeah.
family friendly oriented and kid oriented, they're more,
See.
dotting their I's, crossing their T's, reading between the lines. It's more of an investor culture than Nintendo is. That's my observation anyway. You may have a different opinion on that dynamic, but in terms of Nintendo, I just think that and here's another thing. Here's another thing that I just thought of. They are so finicky when it comes to sharing gameplay online, especially on YouTube or on streaming their games on like Twitch and other places for gameplay content. Um, they shut that crap down. Like they will do copyright strikes on all sorts of
Hmm.
creators, and that they have had a lot of flack for that too. But now they're literally they're still making great games, but what is the price that we're going to actually, that's actually worth it? What is the cost and the time that you put into that, especially where, I'm going to get a little, I won't get too political, but we have to discuss it in the context of what's going on with Nintendo. But a lot is really expensive right now. things are going to get even more expensive right now. And
With the
Nintendo,
tariffs.
to get around the whole tariff stuff, right? They are trying to open up a plant in Vietnam so they can mass produce their Switches and try to get around it. And they had to make an
Do you
announcement.
have an
Oh, sorry,
article? Do you
guys.
have an
We can't do pre-orders. We can't do pre-orders right now. We
so,
will launch, but we can't do pre-orders because of what's going on,
wait, do you have an article for that?
I don't, but uh I'll try to pull it up if I can find it while we're talking, but I do know that
Yeah.
they did delay their pre-orders because of that. So there were some
So I
and
heard
that's kind of what was going on.
I heard with their pre-orders that you have to be like a lifelong, not lifelong, but you have to be a Nintendo Switch user, and they're doing this thing where you have to register with your account to pre-order it. That's what I heard. I didn't
Okay.
hear about pre-orders being postponed and stuff like that. And I didn't know about their plant in Vietnam. If that is the case, I didn't know about that. But I will say again with Nintendo, um, you know, I they make stuff that sticks with you for life. There's stuff from my GameCube I still go back and play. I have my GameCube plugged in over my right shoulder to my TV, and I
Okay.
play
So here's the
Mario
deal.
Superstar
I just
Baseball.
found it. Oh,
Oh, you
sorry, there
did?
was a bit of a lag. Yeah, I found it. Let me share my screen right now. But here is the deal, and IGN
Wait.
and a bunch of other
So
places, they had to actually retract their initial articles about it.
so send it to me on the cord, and then when you send it to me on the cord, I can pull it up on my end.
Okay, let me do this. I'm just gonna quickly.
Yeah, send it to me on cord,
So,
Discord, and
oh,
then
I can send it to you here. There's a private chat. Can you see it?
okay, boom,
Okay,
just
so you
I
got
just
it.
clicked it. Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't want to move that. I want to move that, and then pulled it up, and there we go. All
So
right.
so so what I was saying was that there were a lot of articles that initially reported that that Nintendo released a statement and they said that there was a delay. It turns out not quite.
Okay.
And
So this was on IGN. Okay.
this was on IGN and that they updated their article to reflect the actual accurate information. But initially, that's what I heard. Initially, that Nintendo had put out a statement saying that there was going to be a delay in pre-orders, and I didn't mean in terms of the fact that the tariffs caused that, but they were trying to find an explanation as to why, and that was part of the reason, but not the whole reason why. Um,
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
I was
And
I
at
was
the
trying
end
to
of the
see.
day, oh, go ahead, sorry.
So I was trying to see if they put the price of their camera because I heard their camera was also $50, and it's pretty much Discord.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I and when you if you see in the trailer, oh my god, wait, give me a second. I'm pulling this up right now. Gonna put this down. Evan, the trailer for it. Oh, it is so funny because the camera's moving like one. I don't know what the fuck that was. Okay. Like I go to YouTube and it brings me to Honolulu, Hawaii vacations and travel, and I don't know what the other one was before, but it was Iceland.
Hmm,
Um, I don't know why
interesting.
YouTube is bringing me to Iceland scenic relaxation video in 4K. Um,
Hmm.
okay, that was interesting. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
that took me for a loop. This isn't
yeah,
as bad though as when my
huh,
grandmother was on my account subscribing to knitting videos. We love
yes,
that.
we do. You gotta
um,
get a little vacation in Honolulu in your life. Um,
I'm trying to see if I can find it.
yeah, yeah. I think that Nintendo, like
Oh,
all the other companies, very similarly, but in a different way. Like I said, they need to recognize what the fans want. And it's fine the way that they approach it because that's their business model. And I think that it works for them and I respect it to an extent. I do think they need to chill out with the whole copyright strike thing and
Hmm.
let their fans play their games. They're doing free advertising for you people. Why are you like this isn't the 80s or the 90s anymore. This is 2025. You can let people play your games on these streaming platforms and YouTube. And if some are lucky enough to not be in your gaze, a lot of people do tend to put out your gameplay online because they want to know how to like get past a certain level. They want to know like what tips and tricks other people might have that they found because sometimes a lot of your games aren't that easy to play, and like all video games you have to figure things out based on other people's help.
Hmm.
That's just how I see it. So my advice for Nintendo is this: lower your prices to a reasonable degree that is affordable and that is not going to break your bottom dollar. And I'm looking at you, Microsoft and Sony as well on that front, but Nintendo for now, since this is the main discussion at the moment, and listen to your fans and allow for more fan interaction, not just how you're going to make more money off your games. That is my best advice, I think, for Nintendo. Who knows? They may never listen to people like me. They're never gonna watch this show. I'll tell you that much. But
Hmm.
figure it out, Nintendo. Uh, the fans are gonna come to you, but they aren't gonna come to you for everything. So here we go. This is okay. So what is this? This is
This is the camera.
the
The
camera.
Yes, the fucking quality. Let's get rid of closed caption. You just got to watch the quality of the camera. So pay
See the
attention to
camera.
you see. Do you see where my mouse is? Pay attention to these here. Look at the frame rate of this fucking camera.
It's not the. Oh, okay, got it. So for our audio listeners, we got a guy.
They're gonna hear it. They're gonna hear it on my end.
Yeah. Oh, on your end. Never mind. Sorry. Okay, got it. Okay, so for the audio listeners, the camera is literally a dot on a stick. That's all it is. It's just a dot on a stick.
Yeah, and it's just like, but like the worst part is the fucking frame rate. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look how laggy they are when they're talking.
Oh my god. Well, they've had that problem. They aren't people. Nintendo is not a company that's going to invest in high quality technology. They're only going to do passable technology. And like I have a 3D no, I have a lot of DSs. I have the original, I have the DS Lite and the 3DS, and there's some cool stuff on there. You can actually upload songs as MP3s, and it can like create little animated graphics for the song, and like that's cool, right?
Mhm.
And there's camera stuff and there's other kinds of things, and you can record video on it as well, and whatever. And you can also do like 3D graphics with like some of the cards and all of that, right? Like it's not I wouldn't call it a gimmick, but it's just a nice little thing. It's not high end technology the same way that PS3 or Xbox
Mhm.
would do it. But it is funny the fact that it's the camera is like kind of laggy.
Yeah, it just looks so freaking bad. Um,
And it's like this little circle with your face on it. It's not even
yeah,
like what we're doing with a giant box.
I gotta see if I get yeah. And here it is. Like you said, it's a
It looks like a
stick with
microphone.
the,
It looks
yeah.
like a
Look,
tiny
it
little
really does
microphone.
look like it looks like one of those old. If you watch a movie in Vietnam about Vietnam, and that's the microphone they talk into. That's what it looks like. Um,
Yeah.
like
Oh my god.
Robin Williams going, "Good morning, Vietnam." That's the microphone.
Radio
uh,
microphone, exactly. Oh my
but,
god. Love that
by the way,
movie, by the way.
Evan,
Yeah.
this is another thing too. This is a new game.
Yeah.
I saw this and I thought to myself, "No way! Like this is insane." Give it a second. It's gonna. It's so the controller can now be used as like a mouse.
Oh, cool.
So it is a game where you are in a wheelchair and you can play basketball.
Oh my god.
I
Whoever came up with this game is a genius. That's
it's
incredible.
called Drag
Drag to
and
drive. Drag drive.
Drag and
That's
drive.
incredible. Whoever pitched that needs a bonus. They need a bonus for
I,
for.
I, I saw Triple P, known DSP hater. He straight up said, "Oh, great! It's a game where you can play as one of Phil's fans." Bro, I was pissing myself. I was like, "Bro, that's fucked up."
Oh no, don't go there. Don't go there. Listen, we love our inclusion over here, but holy moly.
Yeah.
No, it's like
Shout out
it's
Triple.
a
Shout out to the
game.
Kino Casino.
Yeah,
Kino
Kino.
Casino, Felton Phil.
Yeah, exactly.
Phil, you're
Um,
felted.
there's a game. It's a PS3 or it's a PC game. Oh god, it's really fun, but it's like you're in a monster truck and you're playing soccer. I forget the name of
Oh,
it.
Rocket League.
Rocket League.
Rocket League.
This this is Rocket League, but with more based gameplay to include people in wheelchairs playing basketball. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's Rocket League, but
I don't
for
know.
wheelchair users. I love it.
It's Rocket League for wheelchair. We know you can't drive. Evan, that's fucked up, Evan. Good on you, though. I'm proud of you. Um, good job. Good
Yeah.
job, Evan.
Anyway,
I'm a bad influence on you. Keep it up.
well, yeah, well, the DSP
Huh?
episode will bring out a lot of things out of you. Believe me, this is not going to be it for either of us. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, dude. DSP. The more content he makes, the better he gets.
It's so
Um,
true. It's
you
so
know.
true. He is the
Yeah.
never-ending
But the
saga.
less. Yeah, dude. The never-ending. Huh?
Huh?
Saga.
Well,
Fucking
so
idiot. What do you think I am? Some sort of fucking lolcow? Why don't you eat
it's
shit out of my fucking ass?
terrible.
Oh,
Good
fucking
Lord, now who's the
Filbert.
bad influence? All right. Anyway, um,
Huh? I did nothing wrong. I did everything right, Evan.
so before we
Oh,
go, thank you so
Philly.
much for joining us. Uh, we by the time we've recorded, we have officially launched the show. We are a live
Yes.
actual thing. We are on YouTube. So I want people to do a very quick favor. If you are listening to this on our audio through Apple Podcasts, be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube. Hit the bell, kick a baby past the field goal, punch a rock. Go into a bank, rob it, and then invest in a 401k. Do what in Minecraft. In Minecraft, do whatever you need to do, but follow the show wherever you can. Follow us on Instagram, and we will be back next week. Mitchell is going to do a deep dive into the crazy events behind a man named
Huh?
Wings of Redemption, aka Jordan. Until then, this is Internet Uncapped. We are signing off, and we will see you next time. Bye bye, everybody.